Rock, 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 rock.
What's great, y'all? I'm Henry Rock Johnson, and you are now tuned in to Roc Radio. I got my brother and my co-host Theresa with me. Don't forget the 1-3.
No, sir.
And today we are talking about checking in with the recent indictment of a Big U, and I'm thinking about me being from Detroit, and we got Trick who had the no-fly zone, and we also think about Jay Prince in Houston. Those are three names that I think about when you say checking in. So how is that prevalent, and why is it prevalent to the rap community that you have to check in? Also, with Sauce Walker getting shot and Yellow Beezy getting caught up in the MO3 murder, and also think about Young Dolph who got shot. I think about, does checking in help with that? And how does this all tie in to the rap community and tie into the artists and their fans that they serve? So I first want to ask you, like, when you think about checking in, like, what does that mean to you? Have you ever had to check in anywhere?
From a gang perspective, I have not had to check in. There have been some situations where I had to meet some people. Like when I conduct business, typically I'm looking for the decision maker. And right. So, or vice versa, the decision or a person that's coming in wants to do something is looking for me, and it's like, okay, now we figure out how we do things. I have people call my phone all the time. I don't want to talk to this person. I want to talk to you. Can you get this? So in that way, never in the streets. I haven't truly understood why that gets into the entertainment. It seems like it's just rappers that have to do that.
Yeah, because you don't really see like Tank or Beyonce having to check in with the city before they go perform and go out and about. But what I'm thinking about, when Trick did it, it's like, okay, like the people in my city are paying to come see you perform.
Yeah.
Like, circulate some of that money back out into the streets for me. So it's been a couple instances where Cats wasn't really with it, and when he had the no-fly zone going on, he had that problem with Rick Ross and what was his name, Baby Bash. I think that was Baby Bash who had the transformer chain on, got it snatched. So you can't do too much out here because it's kind of tough to draw the line on what checking in covers. Like, okay, am I protected from any and everybody? You can see it as a form of extortion because it's like, why do I have to pay you to come to the city?
Right.
Like, I'm getting paid to come here. Why do I already have to break off to my managers and the rest of my team? Now I gotta check, I gotta circulate money to you. Like, for what?
Yeah, it's so interesting because, as you said, there's a disparity, but we can't necessarily prove that R&B people don't have to check in, but it's not talked about, it's not known. People have been explicit about having a problem with certain rappers not checking in certain spaces and saying that they should. I think Jay Prince came out a couple of times and was saying like, oh, you should have checked in, this wouldn't have happened, or something like that. I don't agree with it, because my thing is, they say, okay, for somebody to have protection. That I do want people to be protected.
But don't you have security for that though?
You do have security. You do have security for those situations. But it's like, for those who are having to check in, what does that have to do with uplifting the community and supplementing the community?
I think it's more so of a credibility thing, because if you're on these records talking tough and whatnot, you want to be able for people to see you being able to talk tough in every hood. So that comes with a price. Like, you have to deal with a certain crowd of people when you have to perpetuate that image.
Now, you know what? I didn't think about this before. I mean, it's pretty evident. You have two sides of the game in life. Like, you got the streets, and then you have like corporate, like politics. Politics and companies and whatnot that have leaders. But then in the streets, you have people that govern certain territory. You have your regional manager, you have your district manager, and then you have the regional manager. So there's these levels of hierarchy. So I suppose these people govern a certain territory, but then it goes back to my thing. Is this a territory that you're actually uplifting, or is it just a territory that you're governing and that's where you get your money from? And can't nobody come in and make money in your space unless you know about it?
So let's talk about Big U and how he was in the West Coast, and then we'll kind of tie in Trick and Jay Prince in with this as well. But okay, Big U was a revered Crip leader, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, as you said, he was governing this territory. That's how he got all his money out in Cali on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that comes in, okay, you got to check in with them. So I get what you're saying there. But how do you think that system ended up being his demise?
Well, once you're playing both sides, you automatically make yourself a target, and you make yourself vulnerable. Because on either side, or on one side at least, on the clean side, if you're doing anything dirty, anybody on the clean side can come at you with the dirt that you have. Because that's the difference between the streets and corporate. There's a parallel, and there are certain principles that are the same, but then there are certain things that you can do in the streets that you can't do to somebody at corporate. Corporate, they use litigation and bleed you out through litigation. Streets, they gonna bleed you out in real life. If they don't bleed you out in real life, they're gonna attack where your territory is or where you get money. They'll take out your crew. Okay, they'll take out your crew, they'll come and rob you, they'll come and hit one of your spots. They're gonna make you bleed in different ways. And I think that we see maybe the checking in prevents bloodshed too.
But to an extent though, because if it completely eradicated that point of the game, you wouldn't be having situations like where Young Dog gets shot, or you don't have Sauce Walker and his partner getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
And these people are getting shot in their own hometowns.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make it make sense in the sense, like, if this is your hometown, like, first of all, if you make it from your hometown, I believe in giving back. So if you giving back to the streets that raised you, in a sense, like why would you have to check in? That's why I'm saying it's really just about the authenticity, the perception, and that all leads to what we say on every episode. It comes down to the entertainment.
Come out of entertainment. So Big U has, I saw a video of him speaking, and he talked about how the Nipsey death affected him. And he talked about he lost a lot of money. He had a lot of programs. He had like multi-million-dollar programs going on for kids and youth out in the city. He said he had an Adidas team, like he had an Adidas AAU team on the circuit, or maybe multiple. I think like a program, not a team, but a program that he was able to create, and he also had a nonprofit. But then on the other side of the coin, I also heard that Shaquille O'Neal, and he made Draymond Green. There's more people, NFL players and NBA players, but the two that were brought up in a specific article were Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal. He made them cough up some bread, and it was said that he put some of that money into his personal accounts, which is a part of the reason of why he's dealing with what he's dealing with the Fed case. It's not just about the Nipsey thing.
So do you believe that he set Nipsey up? We got Good Nice Girl going on a couple of interviews talking about that he might have had something to do with Nipsey getting killed.
Well, what was interesting to me, I saw a video the other day of, I guess it was this dude, Luce, Luce or something like that. This gentleman was on the No Jumper podcast with Wack 100. And I didn't like the way Wack went about having him reiterate what he said. Because the way that Wack sat up and his body language when he sat up and he talked about Nipsey killing, so he's like, hold on, so you say you gotta call him Big U. And this was there, you know, like he lined him up really to come back and then repeat. It was so much space in between that you could only focus on the fact that he's like, yeah, I got a call and he told me Nipsey was dead. And I called Nipsey and Nipsey picked up the phone and we talking. And then 30 minutes later, I start getting all these calls and Nipsey got shot and I'm seeing all of these things and Nipsey died. You know, I think that's major. That is major. I don't feel like people should be so comfortable. Like, that's the culture. It's like you gotta come out here and check in because you are talking a certain way and your mouth now puts you and everybody connected to you in trouble. Now you taking away from families because.
And what adds on to that, you coming through, you got stacks of money, you got on this expensive jewelry, you got on all this stuff, and you want to be able to say that you walked through the toughest neighborhood in this city and you didn't get touched. But in a reality, that makes you more of a target, especially if you get caught up in location-based things. Like, okay, I think about PNB Rock and Say So P, right? So Say So P and Sauce Walker, they was in Memphis. Say So posted what hotel they was at. So, like, if I check in, shouldn't people be with me to just make sure stuff like that doesn't happen?
So I did see a post of the people that do who's it? Sauce Walkers and Sauce Walker security. They're the security people. He made a post was saying, I was with them for when I was supposed to be with them. I can't speak on anything that happened when we left them. But yeah, you know, Say So P, I saw in the Instagram video, you could tell that he was at a hotel. And so anybody who's local and who's in Memphis, they can look and be like, oh, that's where he at.
Just like PNB Rock, we're wearing Roscoe's.
Oh yeah, because his girl, I think posted the location or something like that. And it's like you never really know who's watching and who's waiting to do things. So in this sense, now that I think about it, that could be the important. If you're living that type of lifestyle, it may be essential.
Reality.
Yeah, you have to check in because you gotta watch it. And then it's like there's a fee that may come with that just because you want to make sure that you're okay. But that's a price. I don't think that's a price that's worth paying, especially with the state of like how the streets is right now. Like people don't really people not respecting the streets the same way they used to. They're not honored. The code is not the same.
Definitely not.
There's a lot more bloodshed going on because we have emotional young men out here where there used to be sit down. That's what the check-ins, the sit downs was like. Men could come and sit down and agree with like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Instead of killing each other, it's like, hey, we out of order. you want to make money, I want to make money. Let's figure out what we need. Like, let's figure out what we need to do.
Or in the cases of like again, trick. Okay, you coming into the city, the people of our city, we're supporting you.
Mm-hmm.
So we need that same support back, and with that mutual support, you know, we will support you in other ways as well, outside of just protect me. Like, we gonna make sure you good when you rolling through here. Like, so another personal example for me, when 42 Doug just got signed, you know, I got a couple people over on the east side of Detroit where 42 Doug is out of. When Yo Gotti came through and shot that video to You the One, they were only in certain parts of the city. And when I asked them, like, was they in, you know, the zone, the red zone, that's like a real hot area. Like, no, they would have got whacked. You know what I'm saying? He would have got, like, you know what I'm saying? He would have got took care of coming through there, flashing and flossing. However, he was good in this certain area, but that's the agreement they came to. And you could really tell they shot a lot of that video downtown. So, and on a couple of blocks on the east side, but not
more so where he was from.
Yeah. He's not going over. He's not going in deep into people's territories like that. He's staying, because that's how Detroit is. Everybody stay pretty much to their own hood. Whereas you think about California and Big U situation, that's still a lot of gang-related activity in 2025. Like, that's the culture out there. Whereas in Detroit, you know, I remember it in the 90s, but in the 2000s, especially when BMF took off, I noticed it was just more so of, all right, what hood you from? All right, you get money over here. That's what you got going on. I mean, people still claim blood and Crip because that's infiltrated through the culture across the whole United States of America. But now, in this day and age, you can see a blood getting the money with a Crip, whereas back in the day, it was on site. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, and I can't say, like, that's why I appreciate, rest in peace, gentlemen like Nipsey and the Kendrick Lamar when it comes to the unification of these gangs, in a sense. Because it's like Nipsey, a whole Crenshaw, the Crenshaw mixtape is red. He's a whole Crip, but the Crenshaw mixtape is red.
So that's going against the norms.
Right.
Definitely.
It's like, for one reason, it's like, why? But then, at the same time, let's go, like, I would say Jay Prince. I'm kind of going to switch the topic here. Jay Prince, a while back, had NBA YoungBoy's chain. And I was trying to figure out, you like 50-something years old. Why are you dealing with an 18, 19? Like, you dealing with a teenager. And you saying you need to come get your chain, come talk. Like,
yeah.
What? How does that look? Like, why are you even in that? Why didn't you leave some? I understand you the top dog, and you may have got it, and you may have got it back, and you showing that. But man,
it's just perpetuating, again, the lifestyle of the music. So you gotta think about. I'm thinking about like when Pop Smoke, he was a popular drill rapper, the Chicago drill sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a whole culture revolved around gang activity and what that's supposed to mean. And actually, the funny part about it was initially, like, the Bloods and the Crips, they were more so about unifying the community. But, you know, the 80s come and crack comes into the picture, and it kind of separated and makes people fight over territories and stuff that's not really truly theirs.
Right, that part. We don't even own it. Our people don't even really own it. We're just fighting over space. And I don't know who taught it, But I understand it's a way of life and it's a way to survive too.
Yeah.
I'm not completely just gonna talk down on it, but
No, we just posing the question.
But are we uplifting and really protecting our community, or we're just coveting? We're coveting things. We're coveting money and we're coveting access because we want money. And who does that money go to? Who does it help?
Does it help the person that, in a sense, is extorting them?
Yeah.
Because you have to pay me just to come to my city. Is it really helping the members of the community, the OGs that's done stuck it out 40, 50 years and seeing so much violence around it? Like, are they getting some of this money? Or is it just going to the pocket of these kingpins?
Right, because I wonder, like, even with, because it's kind of going back to Memphis, because we brought up Yo Gotti before to the, like, Yo Gotti also had a situation with Young Dolph. And I remember when I was in Charlotte that night when they shot up his Sprinter. It's like, did he check in? Would checking in have helped him? I mean, he felt that he was good. He already knew to have a bulletproof Sprinter. He didn't have to verbalize that he had a bulletproof Sprinter.
Yeah, and he came out with the mixtape Bulletproof after that, where he very subliminally told a story with the title of each of his songs.
Right. So then he's taunting and really bringing that energy back. Because you basically like, oh yeah, you should have got me. And you didn't. And now I'm going to let you know about it every time I drop a song, every time I post a video, I'm making something out of it. But it's like, do you maybe they were just like Biggie and ready to die. They didn't care.
Yeah. And I know the Detroit artist Blade Icewood went through the same situation, got shot, and he basically taunted the people who shot him. And with the Young Dog situation and with the situation with Blade, that it always comes back around, because Yella Beezy setting up MO3. That became because Yella Beezy heard through the grapevine that MO3 was coming at him. So
I heard that Yella Beezy killed somebody that was close to MO3 first, like a comedian type guy. Yeah, offed him, and then that's when it started.
That set off that chain.
And then it became this thing of like, now you know he did it. Like, and I was like, all right, what you gonna do about it?
So it's a taunting thing. So why do you think that instead of being grateful, like, oh, thank you God for missing this situation, why do you think that these artists continue to taunt to their own demise, though?
As men, there's a respect factor, and so you want respect, and then there's the people that are also around. It's one thing if you as an individual know, but if you don't have the right people around you, or you have people that more so encourage that behavior, they're like, man, let me slide on. I want to slide. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? They'll lose respect for you, or just might kill you off of the fact that you ain't going behind these.
You're not retaliating.
Right. You're not retaliating and going behind these principles. You have people who don't think for the long term, and they move off of these street rules, and they put people in these positions around them. Because I'm pretty sure, man, Yellow, I didn't know that he was a street cat, and then I started hearing about all of these things with, Mo3 and all that. I'm like, wow. People were dying behind him. Even Mo3, I think they said he went and chased somebody down, like, to prove how he riding, and he didn't went and chase somebody down all the way. He just chased his man down and shot up his car all of that, like going at them. So,
and then what the entertainment industry does is capitalize off that. So you get so caught up in that aspect of the game. Okay, now with the pressure, with peer pressure, as we'll call it for the sake of the conversation, and now I got to do something. I had to retaliate because my brand is on the line now.
Yeah, and it's just from the entertainment, your brand is on the line, but it's the streets and from a media perspective. Like because you are an entertainer and the spotlight is on you, now it's like evident. Everything you like, anything that somebody does to you, you essentially have to retaliate in some way, or you risk the ability to lose your money, or to not make money now because people don't respect you. So if you built yourself out with street cred and not the music, now you basically like messed up your fan base, and now you can't eat, and then you can't go back into the streets because you ain't doing,
Yeah, you ain't getting no respect.
So I think that's where I think it's a trap. That's a part of the trap that they get into once they start. It's like, for instance, Lucci and Young Thug.
Yeah.
Now, if you out in the Atlanta streets and you talk to people, you would know that there was a lot of bloodshed behind them too. You hearing the music and you hearing the shots being took, but they, the news and whatnot, they tried to keep it down because they're trying to resolve it. They didn't really want it to be widespread because it would be scary if they knew how many people were dying just behind those two.
Yeah, and definitely how Lucci just got out because he, in my book, and I'm no lawyer, but if he was the driver of a car where the two other passengers shot and killed somebody, you're basically an accomplice to a murder. However, when you had the resources, I mean, you had great lawyers, you know what I'm saying, the man free, and that's cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like Lucci as an artist. But going back to what you were saying with Young Thug, I want to take it a little bit further. Now, speaking of lawyers and cases and stuff like that, with the Young Thug RICO case, your lawyers can be used against you. So now that gives a whole bunch of more ammo to the justice system, because when you're perpetuating this image, you're constantly talking about it, and we were always talking to write your truth. So if that's these folks' truth, you know what I'm saying, like, they have to be mindful of how they say it. Going back to what you said with the WAC 100 interview, like, you kind of got to be mindful of what you say because these people literally will sit there and pick you apart.
Right, and it was said that they have been keeping tabs on Big U for a while, as far as the interview goes. But to go even further, it's like, that's the other thing when it comes to this perception of us with the entertainment, at least with rap and hip hop.
The gang culture does have a big part to a lot of these hip hop and rap artists' upbringing, because even if some of these artists like Nipsey, even though he was independent, he had Big U pushing him. Because you remember what our mentor Kevin Shine said, even though they say they independent, there's always somebody or something behind you. Like, you can't just bootstrap everything yourself.
Yeah. Like,
we have a term between us, we call it neck boots, because it's like we try to do so much ourselves. We got boots up to our neck trying to, put everything together. But there's always somebody behind you. Like Chance the Rapper had Michelle and Barack behind him. Tekashi 6ix9ine, for the character he was, I recently saw his documentary on Prime, and he had the Bloods behind him, and they pushed him. So being tied to a gang in that sense, even the game, he's tied to the Bloods. Like, having that push and that credibility behind you has helped a lot of artists get over the top.
Right, it has. And I was and kind of piggybacking off of what we were talking about earlier with being incriminated now with your words. I feel like it was a setup And kind of going back to the Tekashi thing, that's not him. Like, that's not him. With that documentary, he went through that. He was a kid that's just trying to get attention, and he figured out how to go viral and how to market and how to draw attention. And then he realized that he could do that better than the rappers were doing, and he could get into the rap game and make money that way. And he exploited it. But that's the thing itself, right? He exploited it to the point where it's like, it's evident that if you rapped about murder and killing and street things, that was a ticket for you to get some money. That was, if you rap and you talk about those things, you got an opportunity to make some money. Why do you think that? Because you look at all of the rappers that talk about that, mob ties, gang ties, drugs, sex, violence, and money. What is sex, money, murder? You know, that's the saying, sex, money, murder. You do that and you can make some money in the rap game. But it's not the case now. You do that and you bring those things to you.
Yeah, you definitely speak into existence, especially how it depends on how strong you are convicted with what you speak. You definitely speak all that into existence. And as we wrap up, I just want to take a second to think a little bit. Is it deeper than just entertainment? Like, is it an ego thing? Like, why do we have to check in, and are you checking in?
Well, I say I'm not going to put myself in positions where I have to check in intentionally. However, you know, I'll probably maybe on tour or do some shows with somebody who has to check in. And I may be guilty by association in that regard. So I can't say that that's something that I could avoid altogether, but if it's whatever's in my control, I'll do. And I'm a solid dude through and through anyway. And I've been in hoods that ain't mine, and then met people and then been embraced. It ain't been no problem because I never came in anybody's territory trying to take some money for them or anything. So,
or trying to flash in their face,
trying to flash,
being unnecessary and doing the most.
I used to go. My thing is, I would do it with basketball. Like, I come to people, they'll be mad because I'm busting them. You know, they'll be mad, but I have their respect. They may want to fight, but they have to respect. And I've gotten to points where people have wanted to fight, literally just because they couldn't stop me. However, the crowd consensus is just like, you tripping, bro. You getting killed right now. Get out your feelings. And we hooping. Like, we hooping. They don't need to get to all that. And so, yeah. Those are the ways I would go in the hoods and just be killing people. But then it's some static. And it's just like, how are you going to respond to that? And when they see that I respond to that, I'm talking, I ain't necessarily trying to fight, but no, I'm going to win. And then, and I got everybody respect around me. You mad because you embarrassed right now. So, that's the way that I would win people over. But I don't hoop no more like that. So,
yeah, man.
I might need something else.
Yeah, you might do something else. You sing now, man.
Yeah,
you into that. I think I was good more so because I made beats. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm low-key reserved and out the way, and I'm just trying to make these beats and get you to rap on them. So that's done got me in a couple places. I done seen some things, but I done been in a couple places because it's like, all right, he make beats, he good. You know what I'm saying? All right, he with me, he make the beats, he good. So like,
you need that one to go to school. He need to you need to go play. You need to go play college ball. Like, they still had that.
Yeah, they still had that
mindset. Like, nah, bro, leave him alone.
So what do you guys think about checking in? Are you checking in? Leave it in the comments below. What do you think? Is it impactful to the culture? Does it hurt our culture? In what ways? We just want to ask you guys that. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Roc Radio. Stay tuned for that next video.
Boom, shakalaka.